Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome students in our discussions on this new module we are starting today, that is sustainable post mining environmental care. Now, we have been discussing all about this sustainability, mine closure planning, sustainability planning. Now, at the end of this whole mine closure activities taken up by the mines, what we need to see is how the system which are developed there, the environmental system, the interdependence of the society and the resources, and this need to be continuing to serve the needs of the local community. For that, we will have to look into few aspects of the environment. That is what exactly in this module we will be discussing. What is the sustainable post mining environmental care? When we talk about the sustainable environmental care, means different attributes of the area, like your water, soil, air mainly, and then also of course the biodiversity, how it has been maintained, that need to be managed. So, that is, the sustaining means you are managing the environment in such a way that it serves for a long time. So, in this we will be talking about today the water environment, because you know that the mining and quarrying activities, it has got some you cannot avoid, unavoidable impacts will be there on the water bodies, water qualities, the way the surface water and groundwater is interacted, because the mining operations, they are bound to intervene some of the natural systems and processes. That is why the mine must be water conscious mine. This concept of water conscious mine, it has developed in Finland, because in you know that Finland is having lot of metal mines, and these metal mines, the rock type which get exactly exposed and then which are dumped outside, they have a lot of heavy metals and all, so that this water can become poisonous. Now, this management of mine affected water resources. Now, that means wherever there is a mining, underground mining, it will be just disturbing the aquifer, and in open cast mines it will disturbing the drainage pattern, the catchment area of the river basins, they get altered. Now, that is why we will have to do something differently, and here today at the end of this class I will be telling about something called river volunteer. So, maybe that some of you can develop your new entrepreneurship or your new business model, you can develop around this concept of river volunteer for managing the rivers. Let us go and see how it is. Now, that exactly basically we are talking about the mine water, and in that you can develop some new water management. We have one example we will be telling about a floating restaurant in the mining area. So, now these are exactly some of the words you will be learning in this lecture, and after going through this lecture you should be able to explain the needs of post mining environmental care. As such, the need we know that if there is a damage we will have to do it, but thing is that how will you ascertain that how much is the damage, because that will have to be scientifically determined, which in your environmental class or in your chemistry class or your general mining methods class, you have already seen that how mining and water body interactions are there, how to evaluate it, those you have learned. Here we will be giving only a dimensions how that environmental care can be taken up. And then you should be able to discuss the care and use of the mine affected or mine related water. After mining, whatever is coming out, how can you use it harmlessly, and how you can protect the water bodies so that it will remain. And also there is a need of determining the risk. That means not today, maybe after 50 years there could be some problem that because of the stored toxic material in the mine site, if they get access to the water bodies and the water flowing systems, it may be creating health hazards. So that is why how you manage the water bodies is very, very important and need to be looked carefully. Now, when we talk about the sustainable post mining land use, it requires a very careful evaluation of the potential and limitations of different contaminating agents and then different hazards, and these exactly need to look into that. You need to consider what is the degraded landscape. Your first thing is, when you go to a post mining site, you will find a changed landscape. Even if it is a underground mine, at the beginning when the mining is going on, you can see that there are houses, buildings, roads, people moving, and then you can see the characteristics, your winder and then winder house, your cab lamp and all that thing as a different atmosphere. Now, when it is closed, at that time that some of these properties which could be taken, they have taken, some disposed, some remain like that, and then because things are not used and abandonment, a very dilapidated, derelict plants, machineries, buildings will be lying over there, and the total landscape could be different. And the landscape could be further deteriorating if the mining has not taken proper care to stop subsidence. If the voids created underground are not fully filled, it may be subsidence, and you may get your holes, potholes, big potholes over the land surface over there. So, what you can observe, there is a lowered environmental quality in terms of land, water body and air. At the same time, in a post mining land use get changed, and there could be lot of socio-economic problems which may be a challenge to the safety, public safety may be affected, and alternative land use opportunities will have to be looked into over there. And if it is not there, what should be there? That post mining land use could be for agriculture, forestry, recreation, construction, conservation. You can have pit lakes, we talked about pit lakes, the pasture land, aquaculture, wildlife habitats. You can use it for educational purposes, sports and leisure facilities, or industrial uses. But all these uses will be related to some of the basic needs, whether the water is available or not, because water is a very, very important thing, and whether that water is it having lot of contaminants that you need to treat, then if that is, what is that level of contaminations and how much treatment will be required will be a big question. Now, this mining operations, when they are carrying out, at that time also there is a lot of demand for water. Along with it will be requiring land, it will be requiring your fossil fuel, it will have to get its energy, and then it will be, whenever these are consumed, that certain environmental harm is bound to occur. And only thing, by proper sustainable planning, you can reduce these harms, and for that it will have to be necessary that you adopt appropriate technology and means to reduce the environmental impacts, because the way your resources are used, by the method of use, you exactly create pollution, you create contaminants. So, that is why depending on the type of technology, for example, when you have used lot of machinery and then your lubricants are openly that you are using grease and oil and all. So, that will be going to the soil to contaminate by heavy ions. When you are using methods you have selected with drilling and blasting, you are blasting with explosives, means your noxious gases will be released to the atmosphere, but there you can adopt a different technology, blast free mining, or you can use your that machines with an inbuilt lubrications for life with that is a different type of lubricants can be, so that you need not, the frequency of lubricant changing will be very less, and then the spill of lubricant onto the near the machines will be very less. So, these are the possible by adopting appropriate technology. Similarly, you will have to develop and implement technology for reusing the wastes, that is particularly in the tailing dams you have got lot of low concentration mineral, valuable mineral. At the same time you are having a lot of water also, which has been in the form of slurry, that water has carried those deposits. So, that means there are lying, water is also lying, and then certain valuables along with the toxic material is lying over there. If you can develop a technology that it will be used, that will be great. Similarly, your replacement of old equipment and machines to introduce new eco-friendly machinery. You can replace some of the old machines by new machines. Earlier all the diesel operated machines, you know that there will be emitting diesel exhaust, and then the carbon, that is your greenhouse gases are released by that. So, instead of that, if you can have electric vehicles, electric dumpers, so that your diesel consumption is reduced. So, by that you will be reducing your carbon footprint, because you will be releasing, you are emitting less amount of carbon dioxide in the mines. Similarly, you will have to, when nothing is going, all these things you have taken, but still there will have to be the site damage will be there after mining, you will have to rehabilitate that site, and your regulations are already there, but still there are breaking of rules, and then there are illegal mining, that many of the pollutions and many problems are created by illegal mining all across the globe, not in only in India. So, we will have to see how this illegal mining can be curbed by developing a new working system. So, those are the issues which are important. Now, when we talk about this water pollution, is primarily it is associated with the mining operations, and there exactly different way it can intervene. That the four methods, that is your acid mine drainage, heavy metal contamination, sediment and erosion, and process chemical pollution. These are four major. As you know that if the rock which is exactly your mineral deposits are there, they may be exactly generating acid when they come in contact with water. So, particularly if there is a sulphate rocks and all, they can lead to the sulphuric acid, some of the nitrous rock can lead to formation of the nitric acid. So, now then there are different heavy metals, that is your lead, cadmium, zinc, copper, iron, all these things, there is a certain level is tolerable, but when their quantity increases, ion concentration increases in water, it becomes pollutant. And then you already know in your environmental science you have studied that how mercury poisoning, cadmium poisoning, heavy metal poisoning takes place. So, that is why when you are doing a mining in that type of rock, you will have to be very careful to contain that, and that principle of zero emission which has been prescribed need to be followed. So, you also find that when there is an open cast mining, there will be huge large dams are formed, and when the rainwater is there from that dump, two way, one is by surface erosion, and then this water erosion, and the materials will be carried out to the water body as a suspended load, and they may get sedimented in some ponds, but still quite a good amount will be migrating. The other thing is that they will be also going as a leachate, that when the water will be getting on the dump, it will get chemical reactions will take place, and then certain amount will be taken up by the water, and that will be distributed into the natural drainage system. So, this is the way, and also every mining is associated with a coal washing or for mineral beneficiation plant. Now, when we do those process, there you add number of chemicals, and then the effluents are generated. So, they also can create your water pollution in the mining area. You can go through this, there is a very good YouTube video, that is your, when they talk about the mining in a Colorado River in US, Colorado, there had been a big problem, that is a lot of old mining sites, toxic materials came in, and the river, for a long distance of the river, the whole water became unusable, and this was giving a lot of problem in the downstream villagers and the people who were living in their property, where they used to swim, where they used to take water, they used to catch fish over there. Suddenly everything became a poisonous, because there were. So, you see that video and you will be appreciating that if you do not develop proper management for the water, then it can create lot of trouble. Then also certain things you know about that Rio Tinto in Spain, that is one of the very all the people who talk about the acid mine drainage and the contamination from the geological rock strata. It is in Spain, a particular part which is exactly in the Rio Tinto river, in that the all around, as the figure shows here, is exactly you are having a lot of contaminated water coming out in this region, and they are exactly some of them are naturally occurring, some are getting added up because of the mining operations. So, when your water pollutions in a mining would be done by acid mine drainage, heavy metal contamination, pollution from processing plant, and this your erosion and sedimentations, as I have just told you. But what is necessary here? That means your sometimes the nature itself cures. That means if we are getting a acid rain is going on, but if there is a rock strata is having a limestones and all, this water they will be getting neutralized by the your alkaline media. But sometimes you will have to get that thing done by artificially or externally inducing. So, this is a thing I am telling you, you must see that what Dr. Ryan writes some of the lectures you can see in YouTube video, or this is a in the western in near Sydney, there are that in the eastern Australia there are lot of coal mines, very old coal mines. Some of these mines are closed about 10 years or 12 years, but still from those mines this water is coming out. Now, from the edit or from this, now when this water, you can see by the side of it the coloration, this shows that exactly there are iron or there are heavy metal, and then this water is not suitable for drinking. Now, this water, how it can be what is their status need to be assessed before it can be used. So, that Dr. Wright has done a lot of work and survey, and that because this is a mine which was closed in 1997, but still the water, that is that your Canyon Colliery. Now, this Western Sydney University, they have studied the detail of this, whole area, how exactly what are the different rock strata type, and then how the water is coming, how they get diluted, and from that study they were trying to find out, that is in the upstream, what are the different type of biodiversity, what are the different type of aquatic plant, aquatic things are living in their water, in those rivers. Then they started finding out that exactly what are their family richness, that is how much quantity they have, and then what are their abundance. These two they studied, and they studied that what happens to this after they go away from that source, and the mine going at a 20 kilometer away at different places. They have done this measurement, and you can see here, that is the family richness which was there in the upstream before the mining was up to such your high level, it has gone down. That means the problem takes place after the mining, some of this aquatic life they get destroyed. So that is why it is necessary, they have developed that means they have evaluated the problem. Similarly, in Finland also, they also studied all the problems that is coming from the metal mine. In Australia, I am telling you about this coal mine. If you go to the Western Australia, you will find some of their study in their gold mines also. But in Finland, in their metal mining, they found out this the water, how they are consumed and how they are exactly creating and this water environment damage, how it is taking place. So one thing is there, at the time of mining, they do the recycling of the water, so that their contaminants do not go much outside. And then this treatment of the water, it sometimes it may cause risk to the human health, if that heavy metal laden water goes and get mixed with the water supply system. Now, there is discharging this contaminated water is always a problem. So, you need to do a very care, wherever there very high concentration of metal mining is there, metal ions are there in that water, you need to be very careful. Now, if you say for example, in a pH is low, you are using lime or other things, and you have reduced, you have increased the pH value, but it will be creating certain sludges, and this disposal of those sludge from those water also is a problem. So, that means whenever you do the treatment of the water, because of the treatment also certain pollutants may be coming up, and that you need to look into. So, there is in a metal mine, you have got the processing plant, you have got the waste rock, you have got the tailing pond, you have got the settling pond, and then you have got the different processes. And here you can see that with the rainfall, with your dams, processes, tailing dam and all, they produce certain water get accumulated in their settling pond, which is their waste water, and that need to be dispersed. So, you need to, in our country, you can have developed a database in which all that what the way water is being used, and that need to be there is no one place from where you can study. Every mine they have got this study, they do it for different purposes, but the impact of one mine to another mine, neighboring mine, say 50 kilometer away, seldom done. So, that is why this is an area where we need to take a stock of how our Indian mines waste materials, and then this your processing materials are processing plants are organized, and by that how much water exactly they generated. That water balancing, which is many of when it is done in piecemeal basis in many industries, many environmental clearance also require that it is done, but maybe there is a need of having all these things in an integrated manner. So, Indian coal mining water, that is exactly has been studied by say in institutes like ISM Dhanbad, like IITs, they have studied the Indian coal mining, and moreover the mining industry, they supported many research in this area, and it is found that exactly Indian coal mined water is not that toxic, and then they have been found that with a very little treatment it can be made usable for domestic and also for other purposes. So, what it has been from those studies, it has come out that India has got mine water in the form of underground coal mining water and open cast coal mining water. Now, the underground water, they are exactly cutting the aquifer, and the open cast mine water, that is your in surface mines, whatever water is there, that is exactly from the runoff and also from the aquifer. And then there is a different type of problem in Neyveli Lignite Corporation, because it is being mined at the top of the confined and semi confined aquifer. So, that all the time that the water need to be pumped out, and so that the pit floor is not inundated. So, that means there is a huge quantity of water is also available over there. Now, this other than that, wherever there in India also we have got quite a large number of abandoned and closed mines. There also we have got some water, but whether I do not know at present. So, if there is any estimation of that how much water is exactly available in our old and abandoned, closed and abandoned mine, maybe someone of you can study this to determine that is exactly keeping a dynamic record of what is happening, how the water quantity and quality is changing in our closed and your closed and abandoned mines. We need to have a proper geospatial database for these aspects. Now, while talking about this managing this water, and that in coal mining, that how they will be used, that could be used by reduction of the water footprint of mining. That means your contaminating footprint will have to be reduced, and for that you will have to use the mine water for irrigation and drinking, and then you make it to flow as a good quality without contaminant water to the natural water courses. So, this gainful utilization of the mine water is a area where your water management need to look into. And then in India, Jal Shakti Abhiyan, that also has encouraged that the mine water will have to be made usable and should be developing new way how it could be used over there. Now, this is one thing is there by sedimentation, filtration and disinfections. Only by these three simple processes, most of the Indian coal mining water can be made usable for the villages, for the people, for domestic and other purposes. So, it is very clear we do not have a lot of contaminants in form of zinc, mercury or heavy metals, that is not there when that water is coming out of your coal mine. And this is as Indian coal is not associated with pyrite, in most of the cases you are not having, and that as a result there is less acid mine drainage. But if you talk of the northeast India's coal from say Lidu Margherita coal belt, Makum coal field, or that of Meghalaya's coal, what is their high sulfur content, as a result the mine water coming out of it will be highly acidic, and it could be detrimental for other structures uses in the mining area. So, the heavy metals, they are also found in India within your tolerable limit. So, that is while monitoring the mine water, that normally the pH, the total suspended solid, total dissolved solids, chemical oxygen demand and biochemical oxygen demand, oil and grease, these are mandatorily to be determined, and there are the CPCB, they have given other parameters regarding the radicals, what should be there, different ions, their concentration, what should be there, this is given. And then even sometimes the mine management also can impose certain things. They can take the measurement, and the quality of the water supplied for domestic purpose is checked at regular intervals, because if you are sending this water from your, say, effluent treatment plant, and then if it does harm, it will be a big problem. That is why you will have to test and characterize this water. After you have found that the water is harmless, then you can think of how you can utilize it. And for utilizations, it could be industrial use, it could be domestic use, community use, supply for the other industry you can give if it is a nearby industry, then supply for municipal corporations for different purposes, then creation of water parks, water sites, picnic spots, etc. can be carried out, then bottled water supply can be given, and the groundwater recharge also is another aspect. So, now when we talk about the water management in the mine site, things should be clear to you by now that we can have a different type of uses, but the basic thing is you will have to do the characterization of the water. And then if you see that in the 2021, our Coal India, that is your Singarani coal field and Neyveli coal field, they together above 8,354 lakh cubic meter of water were pumped out. So, you can see that huge quantity of water is generally produced as mine water in these corporations. So, there exactly in India 825 villages in 9 states, they can get this, that is your community water supply by using this coal mining water. Now, this for the coal mining water uses, there are a lot of things have been done in India. That Singarani coal field, they have got developed a very agricultural field near to their mine, and then the mine water is treated and supplied over there. So, now similarly that for the irrigation purposes in western coal field in the Boragaon area, they have been giving this water supplied so that the villagers can use it in their agriculture purposes. Now, another big venture of WCL is they were trying to develop just like a coal neer. This bottle you can see, which can come only in 7 rupees or 10 rupees, that is much cheaper than that water is nowadays available in the market. So, that means a coal neer, the water from the coal mines can be marketed in the form of a coal neer, and it could be because it has been proved harmless. Similarly, that another thing that what that Singarani is that your southeastern coal field has done at the Surzapur district, they have done, there is a in the Bisrampur area, they have done one floating restaurant. The open pit, earlier open pit, it is now filled with water, it has got a good water body, and then along with the other recreational and use, it has been used as a floating floating restaurant. And the attraction is that water they have used for pisciculture, and they are producing fish, and that fish cages they export from there. A sustainable business has grown up. So, this example should give you an idea that you will have to do. So, here I would like to request you to take some learning activities, that is what you can do: design a digital system to serve as national inventory of mining waste facilities which can cause serious negative environmental impacts. So, that means your whatever you have learned with your this data science can be applied over here to develop a digital system for keeping this that your water regimes information. Then also what you should do, you should organize a brainstorming panel discussions to outline few issues. Then this can be done when you are having offline class or in online class, you can have in a webinar type of things, you can bring outsiders to come, but it should be as a mock exercise by the students as a learning activity, and there you can propose a roadmap for investigation of mining legacies in India to ensure sustainable land use both in current and future post mining area. So, that means you need to now learn how to organize workshops, how to participate in workshop, and for that this exercise is for you to carry out. Now, this study, then you will have to develop certain study approaches, that is you will have to discuss amongst your peer group, as well as in such type of brainstorming you can invite some of your teachers, some of your industry contacts in a webinar or in a group discussions, and then you can present a general properties of closed metal mine and surrounding landscapes in India. There, whatever you have found out from different sources, you present it to them and ask them, they bring the industry partner to your place and then tell them we can do these things for you. And then the studies which are not taken up yet would be initiated definitely. So, this will help you to analyze the post mining land use and the reutilization of different mining site elements of a new activities in Indian coal mining. You can analyze those things. The post mining land use can be analyzed in terms of your how the water bodies and then what type of water is there. So, that is why you will have to brainstorm to find out this type of approaches, how to analyze post mining land use and reutilization of different mining site elements in the metal mining. For coal mining, some of you can do this brainstorming, someone will be doing in the metal mine. You find out all the things and then examine potential of new mining activities in the post mining sites, you can do it. So, once you prepare here, you can discuss with your faculty, your other members, and we can do it. Then other thing is, as a learning activity, spatial data on mining and land use that need to be developed. We are at Indian level, government level, you can give a good feedback to this, and we will have to do the landscape analysis. For the post mining environmental care, most important thing is the landscape analysis, and then you will have to develop a plan for the reuse of the post mining area that will lead to our what we say as a post mine closure, what type of environmental care will be there. And for that you will have to first develop the general characteristics of the closed coal mine and closed metal mine. So, these part will have to be studied by you, and that will be giving you the basic foundations, and from there you will be finding out and then determine what are the in the active mining period, what is the characteristics in a that is after the mine closure, what the characteristic is going to be there, what type of mine method, mine site elements and material environmental risks are there at present and how it is going to change. Then the what type of functions that post mining land will do, and then whether this if it is a abandoned mine, whether there is a scope for working or not at that time, how the environment will be managed. So, I have given in a of course a lot of things over there. You can pick up only one thing and start doing. Every one of you should start doing, and then you can discuss what you can do. So, another important, because now the semester your these classes are ending, whatever you have learned on this subject you need to put it up. So, for that this is an activity which should be now you should develop your competency to do that. Develop a social network. You can use Twitter, you can use Facebook, and you develop a social network inviting interested people to join as river volunteer. Now, what will be that volunteer? That they should be from the towns and villages on the coal mining affected river, like Hangsdev river of that Chhattisgarh, or your Damodar river in Jharkhand and West Bengal, and maintain a photo gallery. You collect through them bring the photos, and then you see that where the contamination are there, and then you plan a skill development program with your institute to train selected people for collecting water sample for scientific study. If you are interested, if you develop it there, you can contact us or your other professors or teachers in different colleges, in your local colleges, and with that you can see that those samples are properly, you can bring them, and then there could be a one day training is sufficient, that how to keep sample and then how to do that, and by that a good area, a region can be studied with a large number of samples will be coming, and then those colleges also will be having this research, and ultimately you can develop a research proposal for your teacher for monitoring the water quality with the help of the refer volunteers, and for that the national level or some other sponsors funding can be coming. So, once you have developed your this competency of environmental care, you can do the things. So, every mine site is unique in terms of ore type, plant location, water quality, climatic conditions. Therefore, the technical solutions in ore processing as well as the solutions in water treatment and treatment of the tailings will vary, and they will be varying from one mine to the another. Therefore, for mine closure planning, for long term post mining safety, proper characterization of mine water and its flow paths are necessary. So, this is you learned, and from there you can start in which way you can serve, that is the post mining sustainability of the good conditions will prevail and the bad conditions will be eliminated. For that, a management of the water bodies will have to have through scientific care. Now, there are a lot of issues you can study from the nets, you can study different sources to find out what are those alternative way of managing water body in the mining areas. Thank you.